Yo, what is up, YouTube? I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Today, I'm going to bring you guys the update notes. I didn't do it live on stream, which I usually do. I had some other plans. So yeah, we're going to just be doing it on YouTube. This is some more YouTube-only content that I told you guys more about. So follow me on YouTube, because there's content you're going to get here, which you're not going to get on Twitch. So follow me here. I'm just going to jump right in. We're going to do 8.8 bonus updates and 8.9 update. So this one goes live on September 7th, which is from when I'm recording this, 6 days. When it's posted, I think 5 days. Pretty sick skin, depending on how it looks in game. 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 maybe. Silverboot Tsukiyomi. I actually think this skin looks cool. I might say a 9 out of 10. Like, all these skins are pretty sick. This one's a sick one. This one's sick too. I'm going to say like at least 7, 8, or 9 for all those skins. All of them are pretty sick. All right, first change. Fighter's Mask. You're kind of seeing it dominate a lot of warrior builds right now because it's just such a good power spike. 1200 gold. You were getting 40 power originally, then they nerfed it to 35, and now it's all the way down to 30. For nothing else, 30 power is worth about 1200 gold. So I think this is finally kind of in line of where it should be. So I kind of like that change. Finally, it doesn't feel like it's an impossible task to fight a 40 power Hercules at level 1. Next one, Sundering Axe, down from 5% to 3% of the target's maximum health. And health, that's the base stat bonus damage. And then you get 2% of the owner's protection scaling. If you watch any solo laners, if you watch SPL, you know this build has just dominated warrior builds. So it's really no surprise to see it touched. I will say it is a bit surprising to not see Vamp Shroud touched, because even more than this was dominating, I think Vamp Shroud was even more, I guess, toxic, volatile in the meta, whatever you want to call it. I've kind of already given my opinion on Vamp Shroud in the pro Discord, and I think that item is just a problem. You will see that item dominate the game until it is nerfed in one of 3 areas. Solo laners need 3 things. They need power to clear. They need protections, base tankiness, whether it's from health or prots, and then sustain. If you didn't know, Vamp Shroud is giving sustain, power, and prots. Also, another advantage of the Vamp Shroud is usually you're playing against double physical. So if you're playing against a solo jungle as Cerberus and you go Vamp Shroud first item, that's 15 prots or 10 prots, I don't know how many it actually is, against both of those characters. If that Wukong, whatever you're laning against, goes magical defense, that assassin's going to come over and almost one-shot him because he's only got magical defense. So it's very, very hard to play against Vamp Shroud. It's giving you basically everything you need. It's very hard to fight into, and it is so cheap. Well, this one, you got 35 power, we'll say, and then you got 15 prots of each and some sustain. It was 2,000 gold for this combo. Vamp Shroud is 800 or 750 or something like that, and you're getting almost as much power, almost as much sustain, almost as much tankiness. Nerf Vamp Shroud, please. Soul Gem, great nerf. I don't know if it's a big enough nerf because I still think this item is going to be very strong. Janus literally walks around the jungle and walks around the mid lane with full stack Soul Gem all the time because he gets a stack for going over his 3 and a stack for going through his portal. I think Soul Gem is still going to be very strong on a lot of gods. I think the heal is the one place I wouldn't have touched it because I think it was cool how unique it was in the fact that it was kind of a sustain item for gods that didn't have sustain. And now that you're kind of hitting the heal, I think you're kind of hitting like the niche portion of it. I think that I would have rather had them nerf the damage of the Soul Gem, make it more of like that sustain, that tanky, more like 1v1-ish items instead of just like a tank burster. Because you're still going to see this paired with Reaver and it's still going to do a load of damage. Ikavul, probably the best 2 items for the mid jungle or mid ADCs right now. Good to see them both nerfed. Decrease the power increase from the item's passive from 15 to 10. So instead of getting 75 power from this item, you are now only getting 60, which is, I mean, a little more manageable. You will now have more power from a fully stacked devs than you will have from an Ikavul that you get instantly, which is good. I still think the item's going to be good. I probably think it falls out of the meta eventually when something from this patch happens, and then the dev glove thing also. I think this item may only be bought on some. Also with this bow build getting nerfed, maybe something happens there. Ikavul maybe stops getting built. This one, small change. OD bow down from 40 to 30% attack speed. This was the most amount of attack speed you could get in one item, and now it is on par with, I think, like Silver Branch. I think Addis is still a little bit less, but it's now, I think Ikavul is actually 30% also. So now these 2 items have the same amount of attack speed. Void Shield. I think this one was a little bit weird. They say it's for the junglers who want to be a little tankier. I don't really remember a ton of Void Shield on warriors. It's probably built sometimes, maybe even like a good amount, but for some reason, I don't remember it. So I'm a little bit sad about this nerf because I don't think it really needed it. It's really not bought in solo all that much. So to see it get nerfed is, I don't know. It's a bit tough to see it get nerfed. Stone Cutting, deserve the nerf. Decrease the physical protection buff from the items pass from 7 to 5. So now you only get 15 protections and 21 protection shred. Good nerf. I do think this item maybe should see the power actually nerfed a little bit. I think 50 power for 2250 gold, and then you get movement speed and pen and boxing potential in one item is kind of part of the strength of the item. If it was a little bit less power, I think it would be not as abusable, but then maybe it hurts Bakas and Arachnes and Collies a little bit, but you never know. Wingblade, decreased health from 250 to 200. This is to hit that tanky junglers, and it's a good nerf. The item was kind of abused by him. Charybdis, okay, a bug fix, nice. Gilg, big nerf, good. This was so OP. This was OP. The Winds of Shamash were so OP. Like, it was like 300 damage burst, and then it ticked, and it slowed you, and he could knock you back into it, and like, so frustrating. Drop kick, decrease the physical power scaling. I don't like that. I don't like that nerf too much. Heroes Advance 150 to 110, which is just 3. The movement speed and lifesteal and everything, or the movement speed to get to it, is now down from 150 range to 110. It was kind of strong. It felt like you could be across the map as long as you're walking in this direction. You're getting 2,000 movement speed. So I think that's a decent nerf. I'm a little worried about this Morgan change. I don't think Morgan really dominated the mid meta. I don't think she was still even the best mid available. So it's kind of weird to see her to be the one that they nerfed. Increased cooldown from 12 to 13 on her one. Increased the HP the clone has from 10% of Morgan's to 30s. Actually, pretty cool change. Her third one did not feel that impactful, so I like that. Increased the power of the clone, and I like that. So they buffed. So they nerfed the cooldown, and then they buffed the third iteration of her one, which is sick. Shroud of Wildfire, which is, I think, her movement speed is a little cooldown. I think the big problem she had is her cooldowns were so low. Consuming power, decreased health heal per hit from 6, 8, 10, 12, 14% to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, she healed a lot, but I think it was that kind of that combo with Soul Gem. She felt very hard to kind of kill just because she had so much healing in her kit. It felt like you were diving a true healer. So that's a nice little nerf. Osiris, some cooldown hits. He's been dominating the jungle. I don't think it hurts him too much in solo, but I could be wrong. I'm not much of a solo laner, but I think it's kind of whatever. Purrs. Decrease movement speed of the flowers by 10%, which already feel like they don't move at all. Decrease flower by damage from 200 to 180. Sure. I don't feel like her flowers were the problem with her kit. I still think this is one of the worst design gods in the game. I don't know what it is about this god, but she's frustrating to play against, frustrating to lane against, frustrating to dive, frustrating to have on the enemy team, frustrating to, like, just having to deal with her. She is very, very frustrating, in my opinion. And this is the biggest changes, in my opinion. Massive for the laning phase, the late game, the mid game. Huge nerf. On top of her passive having the Omi, it also gave her healing from her auto attacks. Now it's just the HP 5 or healing, whatever you want to call it, which is a lot more easy to deal with than this 10% bonus healing buff. And then her ult also getting the nerf. Probably one of the most impactful ults in the game. It's good that it's 140 seconds, not 120. And then Ymir, the passive down from 15 to 10%. Good change. He kind of felt very hard to kill when he was ahead, and he's still even decently hard to kill when he was behind, and he also did a lot of damage. So I think this is the place that I think it was a good place to hit him. All right, that's patch 8.8 updates, and that one, like I said, is going live September 7th, about a week from now. Next one is cleanliness versus godliness. Iron Maid Bologna. Next cosplay. 2,000 subs. I'll do it. Battle Mother Nua. Kind of whatever skin. Deliverer Nemesis. I think this is like, looks like half of our other skins. Deadly Dinner Discordia. It looks like an Arachne Disco combo. Not very good. This skin looks pretty sick. I'll give it that. Ooh, I like the Mulan skin. Krang. I love Krang. And then Jurassic Slasher CERN. Pretty sick. Toxic Tide Hebo. Whatever. It's don't care. I'm skipping through all this. We want to touch on the Conquest changes. I'm not touching on any of this. I'm not reading it. I know what they wanted with this, and I hate this change. Hate this change a lot. It's like a handicap to somebody who just decides not to farm. They'll just slowly catch up faster. And I don't like that there's so much just push to the game to like being just bad and doing stuff wrong to get you back into the game. I don't like that. Speed buff, increased base movement speed from 5 to 8%. Sure, buff junglers, man. If you know, you know what is going to happen in the rest of this patch. If you know, you know. Initial spawn times, damage, mana, speed, and void. So that's red, blue, yellow. So all the camps are now at 15 seconds, which is to help mitigate losing minions to stupid, whatever you want to call it, 50-50s. Because for some reason, one person could miss all 3 minions just from how slow they clear the camp. And the other one could get everything. 5 seconds should be enough time where if your clear is that bad, you should get punished for it. And if your clear is just like not the best, you won't get punished for it. Green camp, 20 to 35. Don't think it does anything. Basically, I think this just stops people from starting it forever. Nobody's going to want to start that buff. And then the back camps moved up from 25 to 20 seconds. Minion balance just decreased XP and gold through the map, and it's added into the jungle. There's been like a bit of a complaint, and I agree with it, that mids are getting too much farm. And boy, is it real. Mids are getting so much farm. You see him hitting level 20 at like 17, 18 minutes. Thank goodness. Huge change. I'm excited to see how it feels because it's not something I can just look at and be like, this is a genius idea. It's something you're going to have to feel out, but I like the direction of where they're going. Items. Relics first. Buff to Frenzy to 25% attack speed, which is going to feel very good. Very good. And I can't really give my opinion. Like, these changes for all these relics are going to be sick. And they're going to be something I need to try out. Like, basic attack reduction is insane. Med going to 140 seconds. And 1 second increased cooldown per tick is insane. So I can't really speak too much on this until I give it a try. Benevolence rework. It's also something I'm going to have to try. But I think this will be fine. I don't think it'll be OP. I don't think it'll be trash. I think it will be a fine item. And it depends on how well you are able to stay away from the enemy or from your team and not get like kind of punished for it. So I'm excited to try this out. I can't say for now Benevolence if it's OP, trash. I mean, I can say for now that it's not OP and it's not trash. It'll be somewhere in that middle tier. But I don't know if it's going to be above average, average, or below average. We'll see. Boomba's Dagger. Power to it. Nice. Poggers. War Flag. They're getting closer and closer to kind of making this viable. Removing the power doesn't really affect gods too much. Like, what kind of guardian is going to be abusing this 20 magical power? Their autos hit for like 3 more damage, and their abilities hit for 3 more damage. Who cares about the magical power? But they're getting 10 prots in the laning phase, which is sick. Now they can actually play aggressively, trade to try to get this bonus gold and the healing. So I'm excited to try how this one feels. Also, 3 stacks means you can fight after killing the melees and not having to kill one annoying minion from the archer row. I'm excited to try this item. Again, I don't know how it's going to feel. I don't think it's going to be worse. I think it'll be a lot better than before, but I don't know if it's on par with Sentinels. And obviously, I don't know how good Benevolence is going to be, so I don't know for sure, but I love the changes to the support starters. Erudite. This is just a buff outright. 40 to 20 base damage, sure. But 30 to 40% power scaling. This item alone... Finishing this item alone is going to give it about 7 or 8 damage. So right there, you get about halfway to getting the base damage made up. This is going to be an increase in damage. Say you have, I don't know, 400 power. This is going to be doing 160 plus 20, 180 damage. Before it would have been doing 160. So it's a slight buff to Erudite. It'll make it feel a little bit better. 50 power to Brawlers. Okay, like, and all this, it's just buffs to Junglers. Like, this item's going to feel good. It felt good before. It's going to feel better. This item felt pretty terrible, to be fair. And now it's going to probably feel pretty decent. Jotuns, 2,200 gold. This item's cheaper than Stone Cutting Sword. Probably going to be bought in every game. 2,200 gold for 20% cooldown. Those cooldown junglers are going to get really good because they didn't touch Pridwin. Circuit, Fenrir, 150 gold less to need the Jotuns. Insane. Crusher being 40 power. Going to be insane. Trans, 45 power when you finish it. And I think it's going to be like 60, maybe 65 power when you finish it because you get instant power from just finishing the item because of the mana. But I don't know exactly how much it's going to be. But I think Trans is going to be sick item. And this is the item I'm curious about ADCs. Are ADCs going to be building it? Because 45 power off the rip, turning into like 115 later, like that's not damage to scoff at. And somebody in my chat, I can't remember who it was, but somebody said maybe Uller returns. Uller item. Uller item. Uller item. Uller item. Uller item. Not an Uller item. But those are all Uller items, so maybe Uller, one-shot Uller comes back and actually feels good again. Awilix. I like the changes to her. It feels weird that they kind of took her away from this early game kind of one-shot with whatever her 2 is called, and now she's just like a weirder, like, still early game because of her passive, still kind of late game because her passive is kind of OP, but she plays team fights weird. She plays mid-game, so just kind of, I don't know, like, I don't really know how to explain it about Awilix, but she just feels weird. She doesn't feel like there's ever a time where it's like, this is not a terrible Awilix game. It's always, this is a great Awilix game, or this is a terrible Awilix game. So maybe that's how they want her, but that's how it feels. Baka's belly flop cooldown, nice. He has some of the worst cooldowns in the game for support. Cooldown on his escape and his initiate is going to feel good. Baka, Increased CC immunity duration from 1 to 1.5 and cone attack buff duration from 5 to 6 seconds. Both are reverts. He was kind of dominating. I think it was season 7 in the beginning portion of it because of how fast he farmed. And then this is where they kind of hit him. But it's nice to see this back. Baka maybe comes out to play a little bit. Shock. I love this change. I don't know why, but boy, do I want to see some shock. Somebody pull it out. 9-second cooldown on Torrent in the laning phase. This is probably the ability you're maxing now. I don't know why you wouldn't max this ability over the 1. Now the 1 is like not even a good early game ability because it's just worse than this one. Why? Oh, like, I don't know, but I think Chalk might be decent. ESET. Damage mitigation in the circle from 20 to 25%. Maybe some support ESET. 25% mitigation is a lot. A lot. Especially if she's pretty tanky alongside of you. You can't just lock her down. She's able to play like that peel role. Even if she's getting engaged on, 25% mitigation is going to be insane to try to kill her through it. So I'm excited to see how ESET plays out with it. Ganesh. Finally. Why is this God's 16 seconds? It is so long for no reason. 14 to 12 is going to make it feel a little bit better. Maybe we see some Ganesh. I don't think this is the exact point of weakness. I think his 3 is still his weakest ability. But I think this is a good start. Geb. I love this change. Nothing feels worse than not being able to kill with Geb ult. I have somebody one shot, maybe like 100 health. My autos are hitting for 35. I can't get 4 autos off, 3 autos off. Bro, let me ult to kill him. Yeah, that's my rant. That's all I get. Yeah, just his ult does damage, flat damage, and % damage. It will not have any magical scaling. So full damage Geb will do 15% current health and 720 flat. You cannot do any more damage than that at all. No magical scaling. Hell. Nice little buff to Hu Yi. I still think he just feels terrible to lane with. His like 1 to 5 is probably the worst 1 to 5 in the game right now. Obviously his 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 17, 19, 20 feels fine. But I'm going to hate when this god is on my team all the time because of how bad his laning phase is. Horus. Protector Surge. The healing goes up, which is nice. I think this might be a revert also. I could be wrong, but I think it used to do about 70 healing and then they nerfed it. Like I said, I could be wrong. Feel free to yell at me in the comments if I'm an idiot. And then increased bonus damage from the gust attack, which is nice. It felt like you weren't getting a big value from it, and now it is not that big of a change, but 60 damage compared to 50 is a decent chunk. Sylvanus rework we've been waiting for. Ooh, and then Ullr. I'll talk on the Ullr quick because it's a quick one, and I don't want to forget about talking about the item changes. So he has extra scaling on his bladed arrow, extra attack speed, and extra physical lifesteal. I think this might be the perfect storm for Ullr to come back. He was almost back like a couple times this split. Like I think Vote played him, Panda played him. Like they tried to get him to work. And now that they buffed like his full one-shot build, you might see some Ullr, especially with these changes. An extra 10% when he's got 400 powers, an extra 40 damage, which is a pretty good chunk. I'm excited to see how he feels though. Back to Sylvanus, the minor rework. His old passive was a 25% chance to root with a 12-second cooldown. Horrible passive. I think it's only outdone in shit ability by Kumba passive. Please rework Kumba passive next. Ajax. Nature's Bounty. When Sylvanus abilities hit or are deployed, a seed pod appears at the location. When Sylvanus picks up the seed, pod restores 2.5% of his mana as well as lowers his cooldowns by 0.25 seconds. At level 20, this cooldown reduction is increased to 1 second. So I had one thought about this when I saw it, and it's, is this a linear 0.25 seconds? So it goes up like at level 10, it's like 0.5 seconds. At level 15, it's like 0.75 seconds his cooldowns go lower by. Or is it just 0.25 seconds until level 19? And then at level 20, it just jumps up to 1 second. I think the cooldown is the biggest thing, but he did feel like he had a little bit of mana problems. He does have mana on his 1, so I don't know why exactly the mana is the place that it goes to, but I really don't know where else they could have gone. Like, they're not going to give him another healing ability. I mean, maybe if Sylvanus picks up a seed pod, he restores 0.2 or 2.5% of his mana. Maybe they take away, like, the root from his 1, and it's like, next time he picks up his seed, his auto will root. Like, I think that would be pretty cool, and it'd be like an interactive passive that Sylvanus can make it so he's using, I don't know, using it a lot or holding it to when he needs it or just looking for a route to pull off of. I think it makes him a lot more threatening instead of just waiting for this. I don't want to just guess, but I think it's like a 12 to 16 cooldown, 16-second cooldown 1. But yeah, I mean, it's better than his other passive. Lowering his cooldowns in the late game is huge because his cooldowns late game are terrible. So I like that. we'll see. Don't think it makes Sylvanus OP, but it doesn't hurt him because his old passive sucked. That is the patch. So we got a little bit of jungle love. My first look, it didn't seem like a lot of support love, but now that I'm looking through again, relic changes, starters, no items were touched, which is unfortunate. I feel like items are kind of boring right now for support. It's like Thieves, Purduen, Mantle, Sentinels, every game, 4 items locked in. But yeah, I mean, I think the patch overall could be a very good patch. You got to see how this plays out. Maybe mids are still OP. Maybe this makes supports level 19 at 14 seconds and it's completely OP and supports run the game and you play mage supports, but you never know. So I'm excited to see how it plays out. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys got any questions about the patch, ask in the comments below. I'll be here to answer anything you guys got. If you guys are still not subbed, please sub to the channel. I know a lot of you guys still aren't, and I hope you guys liked the video. Till next time, peace out, boys. And ladies, and ladies, peace out.